Greetings, fellow Americans. I'm Jimmy. I'm the host of the show. I'm happy to be here. For me, and I'm sure for many of you, the past 24 hours have been a roller coaster of emotions and nausea. I thought if your election lasted more than 48 hours, you were supposed to seek medical attention. We didn't get a winner last night, and it was a long night, but one good thing about the pandemic is we're now used to waiting a few days for results. This is not the landslide Democrats were hoping for. This race was closer than Donald and Ivanka at a father-daughter dance, but the ballots are still being counted. Joe Biden definitely did better than Hillary Clinton. He was able to pick up the sexist vote, but he didn't do as well among racists. So even though the deal appears to be sealed, there's still a lot of attention being paid to the state of Pennsylvania. The Amish haven't wielded this much power since they figured out how to hook a plow to an ox. And, I've been thinking about all this. And for me, the biggest question is, why did we believe the polls again? You'd think we'd have learned our lesson, but I guess that's not how humans function. We are on season 25 of The Bachelor, and we're like, I know it didn't work out the first 24 times, but this one, it feels like love. And here's a theory that's very convenient for the pollsters, which is they claim the reason they're wrong again is because the people who support Donald Trump lied to them because they're embarrassed to say they support, which is crazy because why would you support a person you're embarrassed to tell anyone you're for? Bottom line, don't trust any industry that calls you on your landline, okay? It isn't official yet, but all signs are pointing to a Joe Biden win. Everyone seems to know it, everyone except for Donald Trump.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Right. If they hadn't canceled the Olympics this year, he would have won that too. Basically, his message last night, in a nutshell, was, we won a completely fraudulent election.
We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay?
Right. Stop counting the votes. Okay, stop counting the votes in the states where I'm ahead. In the states we're not, tally it up, keep counting, okay? Trump is now planning to take this to the Supreme Court. He called for a recount in Wisconsin until they told him he had to pay for it. Now he might not do that. They're filing lawsuits in Michigan to try to stop them counting votes. And he's sending Rudy Giuliani to Philadelphia to try to do something about the results in Pennsylvania, whatever they are. That's right, Recount Dracula is on the way to Pennsylvania. And they better watch out. This is unbelievable. Tonight he wrote, we have claimed for electoral vote purposes, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which won't allow legal observers, the state of Georgia, and the state of North Carolina, each one of which has a big Trump lead. Additionally, we hereby claim the state of Michigan, if, in fact, there was a large number of secretly dumped ballots, as has been widely reported. He's claiming the votes in 4 states he didn't win. You can't claim the votes. This is the Electoral College. It's not baggage at an airport carousel. Donald Trump is losing, and surprisingly, even though he isn't, his supporters are handling it pretty well.
We are not prepared to give that number
The
now.
Biden crime family stealing the election. The media is covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media is covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media is covering up. We want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden. Your Biden is covering up this election. He's stealing it.
Where were we? What was the last question?
Now, that's some lucky relative gets to sit next to him at Thanksgiving this year. In his defense, the Biden crime family stole his sleeves and his teeth, so failure is in the magosphere. I have to say, I'm very happy and relieved that it looks like we're finally sending this monster back to Mar-a-Lago, but I'm also, yes, go ahead. I'm also shocked that it was this close. How could, we reunited the cast of every movie and TV show ever made. to win this election. It is unimaginable to me that close to half of American voters saw what this man has done to this country over the last 4 years, how he kowtowed to Vladimir Putin, he cozied up to Kim Jong-un, he alienated us from our allies, he put children in cages, he villainized the free press, he hid his tax returns, he tear-gassed peaceful protesters, he pardoned all his criminal buddies, he extorted Ukraine, he misled us about COVID, he dismantled the pandemic response team, he dismantled healthcare, he called neo-Nazis very fine people, he hired a never-ending parade of imbeciles, he lied, and then he lied some more. He is a liar and a cheat who wants them to stop counting thousands of legitimate votes, and almost half of us are apparently okay with that. Half of us want to keep it going for 4 more years. Which, listen, I don't care what you think of Joe Biden. If Joe Biden stopped by my house every morning to key my car and pee in my pool, still be no question which one of them I'd vote for. None. I mean, what more did Donald Trump have to do to show us that he's insane and not fit to lead this country? I feel like I overestimated the American people and I underestimated the village people. Fortunately, there have been some glimmers of sanity from the other side. Many of the president's hype men were unhappy with his speech last night, but no one was more upset than the news people who had to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning to cover it.
Duty-bound to point out when he says we did win this election, we've already won, that is not based in the facts at all.
Votes are still being counted.
This is disinformation and misinformation on a level that has not been seen from the presidential podium in the East Room of the White House in my lifetime.
This is why people are boarding up the stores.
What President Trump just said was undemocratic and false and premature.
This is an extremely flammable situation, and the president just threw a match into it.
Yeah, really. Can you believe this guy did exactly what he's been saying he would do for months now? If not only has he been saying it for months, this is from October of 2016.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Okay, not a lot of room for interpretation there. Donald Trump is going to make the end of this as difficult and painful and damaging to this country as he possibly can, because he can't admit he's a loser. He has to have an excuse. He kept it going this morning. He was orange flagged by Twitter repeatedly today, once for this tweet. Last night, I was leading, often solidly, in many key states. In almost all instances, Democrat run and controlled. Then, one by one, they started to magically disappear as surprise ballot dumps were counted. Very strange. Yes, it's very strange how the results of an election can change once the ballots are counted. It's almost supernatural. You know, if they just stopped counting the votes when he was in the lead, this would be fine. He would have won. And I'll tell you another thing. If they'd stopped the fight in Rocky III after the first 2 rounds, Clubber Lang would have kept his title. He was winning on points. Here's the bottom line. Donald Trump is going to serve another term. We just don't know whether it will be in Washington or in prison yet. And the inside word is Trump is not taking this well.
Let's begin with Chief White House Correspondent John Roberts, live on the North Lawn. John, there's a lot to get to.
There is, Dana, and something just breaking in the last couple of minutes as well. Things are moving fast and furiously with the president's campaign. The campaign manager, Bill Stepien, announcing that the Trump campaign has filed a lawsuit in the state of Michigan saying President Trump's campaign has not been provided with meaningful access to numerous counting locations.
Well, there goes the security deposit. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, he gave a speech last night, too. He told everyone to remain calm and stay in their cars while all the votes are counted. So while the president and even democracy hangs in the balance, we know one thing for sure. The internet is terrible and caused all of this. Social media is trying to kill us. So tonight, as we near the end of an exhausting election, we asked some well-known names from the world of politics to read some of the worst things ever written about them. And with that, we give you an all-new politics edition of Mean Tweets.
Bernie Sanders seems like the type of guy who'd return a single piece of fruit to Walmart and hold up the line for an hour. Well, not quite, but I do hope that the workers in Walmart can eventually earn a living wage with decent benefits.
Elizabeth Warren is what happens when Jan Brady grows up.
If Templeton the rat from Charlotte's Web had a successful rat cousin he hated for being an unctuous slime ball, it would be Ted Cruz.
Andrew Yang has terrible hair and can't be president. It's not fair, but it's the truth. Have you seen our current president's hair?
Anthony Scaramucci is what happens when cold lasagna served on a Sopranos DVD makes a wish upon a star to be a real boy. I mean, somebody was on serious drugs writing that one.
Nancy Pelosi probably has the same 5 napkins in her purse for the last 25 years. That comes from Pooh Raggies. Is that how many napkins you have, Pooh?
Ed Cory Booker has the IQ of a dog turd.
If John Kerry's head were to be carved on a mountain, it would be actual size. Mount Rushmore, here I come.
Dear Al Franken, you weren't funny then, and you're not funny now. In fact, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, and gosh darn it, no one likes you. Call back to a character.
I'm not the kind of person who collects and stores cat piss. For starters, I don't own any cats. But if I were, I guarantee it would take Hulk-like strength to keep me from throwing collected, stored, warmed-up cat piss into John Kasich's face. You're kind of sick, aren't you?
Mayor Pete looks like Howdy Doody, if Howdy Doody was a narc.
At Real Donald Trump. To show you how dishonest the lamestream media is, I used the word little, not little, in describing corrupt Congressman Little Adam Schiff. Low ratings at CNN purposely took the hyphen out and said I spelled the word little wrong. A small but never-ending situation with CNN. First of all, it's not a hyphen. But secondly, what the You're the President of the United States.
At Mike Bloomberg, saying he's running for president is like finding out Nickelback is playing the Super Bowl halftime show. I like Nickelback.
I think that goes a good way toward explaining a lot. Hey, we got a good show for you. Senator Cory Booker is with us. We have music from Gregory Porter, and we'll be right back with Kerry Washington. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. An evil wizard has trapped me inside this YouTube video. Click subscribe to help me escape.